My name is Sean Hayes, Director of Performance for the UFL. You know, every strength coach will tell you when they're, leading the team how cool that is. You get a 100 guys. Well, what's better than that? What's cooler than that? Well, having multiple teams. Having 8 teams. That's a really cool thing. That's something that's really unique. So that's kind of what I kind of embrace about this and really like about this job is not just having one team, having 8. We first found out that we were going to be able to get this space in this Choctaw Stadium back in November, maybe mid to late November. So we didn't have a whole lot of time to kind of make this kind of thing all happen. But there's a couple things that we kind of knew we needed just from the previous seasons. Again, player first mentality, like what would feel good for the players and what do the players need? And going into this season, hey, one of the main things we didn't want to repeat was cutting corners on the floor. We wanted to get the floor right because the floor is your foundation. The house can look great and the walls can look great, but if that foundational floor ain't right, that house is caving in. And it's no different than a football team or a football weight room. The floor is huge. So one of the first people we contacted was Ecor because we knew we needed the best of the best when it comes to taking care of these guys' joints. Everything comes from the floor. These guys are 300-pound athletes. We got to take care of their joints. So, whether it's a squat, a jammer press, an explosive, jumps, we can do everything right here on this floor. And that was a huge component when you're talking about what's this weight room going to look like. It really came down to 2 companies. It was Ecor with the floor, and it was Arsenal Strength with all the equipment in the racks. And we all 3 of us worked together, and we had a lot of help with the stadium and Rev Entertainment because they're great partners of ours. They wanted to see this room have a success, and we got to work. We didn't have a whole lot of time to get it done. First, you're like, I don't know if this is gonna work. And we're gonna make this happen in time. But some magic definitely happened, and everybody worked hard, and the players really enjoyed coming in here. And that's kind of what the idea was, right? Like you want to make a space for these guys to come in, be excited, right? They're practicing hard. They're meeting, late at night. They're meeting early in the morning. It's like, they come in here. Let's crank the music up. Let's give them something to be excited about. Give the juices going a little bit, and for them to kind of get a good workout in. And that was certainly one of the goals. And I felt like we accomplished it between the all hands on deck that were involved.